Ho, ho, ho. What up, what up, what up? It's yours truly, Mr. TALIAFERRO. My annual Christmas giveaway is on the way. Last year we did it on YouTube. This year we're going to do it on my Instagram account. So if you want to win AirPods, gift cards, and a lot of other stuff, you want to make sure you're following me on Instagram at itsmrtaliaferro. You're in the running to potentially win some AirPods and a lot of cool gifts this holiday season. Enjoy the video. What's going on? It's yours truly, just say it with me. They call me Mr. TALIAFERRO. How's everybody doing out there? So what I love about my platform is maybe I'm not the platform that does reactions to music videos, but I love these heartfelt stories behind the music. Some of these stories are very tough to report on, but I feel like somebody has to do it. Somebody has to care about what the artist is going through, positive or negative, as they create music for you. And that's where I kind of feel that void in the culture. That's why I love my platform and what I do so much. If you remember, Detroit's own Tee Grizzley lost a very important piece to his puzzle back on August 21st. His auntie and his manager, Jobrina Brown, was killed in Detroit. Just a very, very unfortunate incident that happened. For the first time, Tee Grizzley did a video interview explaining his emotions, his thoughts, his relationship with Jobrina Brown, everything that took place on the day of the shooting. He did it with Big Dog Blast. Salute to him for getting this exclusive story. I'm not going to play the interview. I'm just going to let him have his own clip and have his own moment. But I will read to you some of the things Tee Grizzley talked about in this interview. But before I get into that, I want to explain to you what I learned about the relationship between Tee Grizzley's manager and Aunt Jobrina Brown and himself. Again, how they became so close. So I learned that Jobrina was actually Tee Grizzley's aunt via marriage, right? His uncle married Jobrina Brown, but they had separated. They were no longer together. Jobrina Brown had money. According to Tee Grizzley, she lived in the burbs. According to Tee Grizzley, pretty much what happened when Tee Grizzley was locked up, a lot of his family turned their back on him. He didn't really have no one to call on. He was asking family members when he came home, yo, can I have some money? Can you help me out with this rap shit? Help me get on my feet. And everybody kind of turned their back on T. He's like, nobody really visited me when I was inside of prison, and when I got home, nobody really rocked out with me. When I came home, the only person that believed in me was Jobrina Brown. She gave him somewhere to stay. She allowed him to get off the ground. She funded the First Day Out video, the video that changed Tee Grizzley's life. That record made Tee Grizzley the artist who he is today. So Tee Grizzley was forever grateful for Jobrina Brown. That's why he always rocked out with her, because she was the first person, I would argue maybe the only person, to genuinely believe in Grizzly's career. That's why the Tee Grizzley explaining the death of his auntie, it's so sad, it's so depressing. I'm gonna let Tee Grizzley give you guys the rest of the story. Here's what he told Big Dog Blast about what happened on the day of the shooting. He said him and his aunt were leaving a studio session and they drove to Tee Grizzley's cousin's house. All right, at that point, he tried to get his aunt TJB to get out of the car and go inside of his cousin's house with him. But Jobrina Brown, let's call a spade, T kind of alluded to her being a little bougie, and he was like she didn't want to come inside of somebody's house because she was an incredibly clean person and she didn't like being on people's dirty furniture. All right, so she stayed in the car. T said he went to his cousin's door, waited for someone to answer the door. It took a little minute, and he said by the time his cousin came to the door, he heard gunshots from behind him. Again, his auntie is inside of the car at the time, sitting in the passenger spot where Tee Grizzley is. Usually that's where he sits at, with the driver in the car as well. Again, Tee Grizzley at the door with his cousin while his auntie is inside of Grizzly's vehicle. T said he got down thinking that they were about to come to the side to shoot at him. And then he was thinking to himself, damn, he don't even got no strap on him at the time. So his cousin ran out with a gun. And T was like, perfect. So we ran out in the street, and when we ran out, his driver was gone. So Tee Grizzley was like, dang, okay, I don't see no glass on the ground from the car. He thinking that his driver and his auntie Jobrina Brown and went up the street and left them. So he thinking everything's fine, right? T was at the point where he was like, he thinking everything's so good. It was to the point where he was mad at his aunt and his driver for leaving him at the scene while people were shooting at them. But T immediately found out that was not the case. The driver went on to explain to him what happened. He told T Grizzley that someone ran up to their car, opened the door in an attempt to get at T Grizzley. They didn't even shoot the driver. They went right where T Grizzley's aunt Jobina was at, thinking that's where T Grizzley would be at. And they was trying to off T Grizzley. They were trying to shoot and kill T Grizzley. T went on to say that his aunt was shot 8 times in her side, and it hit her heart as well. She didn't immediately die. He actually said Jobina Brown was able to call T, but she really wasn't saying much. Obviously, she was fighting for her life. He was trying to talk to her, and he really couldn't make out what she was saying. But T Grizzley, if you listen to the record Sativa, it's a really dope record. You should listen to it. It's literally all about his auntie Jobina Brown and the situation. If you listen to T, he pretty much blames himself for it. And in an interview with Big Dog Blacks, he went on to say a lot of family members are blaming him for the death of his auntie. T went on to say he kind of understands it. He was like, if somebody killed his brother when the bullet was actually for somebody else, he'd be mad too. When I listen to T Grizzley in his interview with Big Dog Blast, I hear a guy who is coping, and he was actually playing Call of Duty in the midst of the interview. And I'm looking at T Grizzley like, yo, he's doing better than I thought he would be doing right now. Not a lot of emotion from T. He did admit that he's only had one dream about his auntie since she passed away, and he characterized it and compared it to winning $1 billion, right? Or winning $1 billion in your dream. And when you wake up, you realize you don't got it. So he was like, he don't want to dream about his auntie because when he wakes up, he realized he no longer has her because she's, passed away. But I think T Grizzley is doing better, like I said, than I would assume him to be doing at this time. Not sure when we're going to really get more music from him. He acknowledged that he's been traveling. He had just got back from out the country. He said he hated the food, but it made him appreciate the country a lot more. He said he had recently been in Dubai, Sweden, and a couple other places as well, London. And I think T Grizzley will be all right. I think he's going to put all this pain back into the music. Big Dog Blast was asking some very personal questions, damn near some incriminating questions. He asked him straight up and down, like, where's your mental state at? Are you trying to get revenge on the people who did this? And T, whether he meant it or not, he answered the questions appropriately. He was like, nah, I'm trying to cope with everything. I'm trying to play chess with the game of life. I don't want to plan my moves out too far ahead. I just want to take life with what life gives me. And I think T Grizzley he's gonna bounce back from this. He said he got a new manager, and he's gonna move on and try to make the best of this thing. So I wish T Grizzley nothing but the best. I want to interview you, T. I'm not sure if this video is gonna get back to you, but I want to make sure I get an interview with you. I want to sit down with you, and we don't gotta talk about that. You've already done it once. I just want to kick it with you. You seem like a dope dude to talk to. Hell, maybe we can set up like a little Call of Duty, NBA 2K. I could bust your ass in 2K or something like that, and we could just chop it up. Talk about your career and everything you got going on. Best of luck to you. Prayers to your family as well. Again, T Grizzley did an interview with Big Dog Blast. Please check it out. I'll drop the link to that interview in the comment box below if you want to watch the video to it. And he's talking about losing his auntie. Please check out that record Sativa if you have not done so as well. Thank y'all so much for the time, love, support. I don't take it for granted. Salute. I'm out. I came from nothing, but I want everything God has for me. I interview celebrities. I talk sports. I still represent the culture.
I got the kids, they tuned in.
We locked in right now,
Mr. Taliaferro.
Taliaferro.
Shout out to Mr. Taliaferro.
You're watching Mr. Taliaferro TV.
Mr. Taliaferro TV.